All right, it is the Sports Mashup number 93, January 11th, 2023 is the date. And we begin, of course, in the NBA where Steph Curry is back for the Warriors, returned to practice on Monday, played in the game. Their weird, I have to say, loss to the Suns. The Suns team that had one starter playing. He had 24 in that game last night, just so I can, throw the Suns into the mix here. What a win last night. Starting lineup of Dwayne Washington, Mikal Bridges, Jock Landale, Torrey Craig, and Bismack Biyombo, I think was their starting five, which is two centers,
So
no shooting guard.
Bridges was their only starter.
Yeah, and he had 26. He was big time. But no Booker, no Paul, no Ayton. Cam Johnson's still out. It's not a good spot, but they find a way to win last night. And they're 21-21. So who knows where they go from here. But anyway, let's move along.
Yeah, that is not like for them to beat that. I mean, you had Lee get 22 off the bench.
Dwayne Washington's been really good.
For Golden State, I mean, Clay had 29, Steph had 24, Wiggins had 10, but then Draymond only had 5. Looney only played 21 minutes, had
How many did
1.
Poole have?
Poole came off the bench, had 27.
Seems like outside of their big three scorers of Curry, Thompson, and Poole, nobody else really did anything.
Yeah, I mean, Draymond played 34 minutes, only had 5 shot attempts.
The Warriors were down like 30 or 25 in the second half of that game. So they came back, made it close, but the Suns were able to finish the deal.
Looney must have got hurt only playing 21 minutes. He only had 1 shot attempt at 1 point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had only had, it was at half 59-47. And then Suns outscored them by 5 in the third, and then Golden State outscored them by 7 in the fourth.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Kevin Durant out at least 2 weeks with an MCL sprain. They said the Nets say no excuses. Mission same without KD.
Yeah, I think it's better for this to happen now than in March, for sure. With the way the Nets are playing with him, they're really, really good. But if he's going to get hurt, you'd rather it happen now than later.
Yeah, I think. And Kyrie yesterday, I think he ended the game with 29, but he had 24 at half.
Yeah, they'll be fine without him.
I did see Joe Harris got posterized the other day.
It'll happen.
And then the Cavs get Ricky Rubio back after being out a year with that eye injury.
Nice get back for a Cavs team that has higher hopes than the last time he played for him.
I didn't even know that he was still even playing or trying to play.
Yeah.
Because I thought when he had that eye injury, he was going to have to retire.
He defied that. On to the NFL. The regular season is over. Week 18 recap. We start on Saturday.
The Chiefs beat the Raiders 31-13. Chiefs get the win and clinch the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Yeah, no doubt in this one at all. This was over from the finish.
Which, I mean, we'll get to later. People are going to put an asterisk by the 1 seed.
Yeah, but easy win for the Chiefs, no doubt. Rightfully so. It should have been that way. Also, the Jaguars beat the Titans 20-16. A little bit of a late comeback for the Jags. They were losing a lot of this game, but they ended up clinching the AFC South and getting the 4 seed.
That was with the Titans playing with their third-string quarterback, Josh Dobbs, making a second start.
If there was any doubt of like players, wanting to play or playing for Mike Vrabel, they played hard in this game, and they almost could have easily won it without a few mistakes that Dobbs made. So
yeah, and then there was the whole fumble call that was a call on it, where don't think it was a fumble, but they called it one, even in the review.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, you had the Bills beat the Patriots 35-23. Some could say over from the first play. Naeem Hines shines for DeMar. Had a one kick return and one punt return touchdown?
I thought it was
it
two
both
kick
kicks?
returns. Yeah, I think it was 2 kick returns.
So the Bills got a good trade there by getting Himes from the Colts, and
Yeah,
he finally busts out and gets 2 kick returns, but the one to start the game. Talk about the Bills needed that. And then DeMar back in Buffalo to continue recovery. And then as of today, he was released from the hospital. So
it's great news.
He'll be doing way better. I mean, in basically just over a week.
Yeah.
Already out of the hospital. So
very out of character for the Patriots to give up 2 plays like that on special teams. I will say they've had, the best special teams in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
So very weird there, but props to the Bills.
Who's their big guy on special teams? Who's their captain? Who's
Slater?
Yeah,
Matthew Slater. Yeah, looks like he might be hanging it up after this one. Sounded like Nance and Romo were alluding to that on the broadcast. But
so now we'll just see with DeMar if he's able to come back, and I don't think he'll play this year, but let's see if he can, because you got to play at least 3 or 4 years to get in a pension for the NFL, and this is his second year, so
yeah,
he's either got to just move on or see if he can come back and play next year.
Yeah, and the Bills are gonna be hard to stop in the postseason. There's no doubt. The Vikings beat the Bears 29-13. The Bears lose and get the number 1 pick. We'll get to why they got the number 1 pick later.
Yeah. Bengals beat the Ravens 27-16. Burrow clutches up. Now Ravens don't know if Lamar will be back.
Yeah,
which we'll get to that. We'll get to that later too.
This game, 11 points feels like this was more out of hand than that. I don't think I ever felt like the Ravens had a shot in this game.
But the Bengals offense didn't look that great in the first half.
Yeah, they're playing a tough Ravens defense, though, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that, and they'll play them again. So
yeah, I always forget that Calais Campbell's there now.
They have Roquan Smith. They just gave him a $100 million extension. So Marlon Humphrey, some good players there, no doubt, and some young ones too. With your boy from Penn State is there, Odafe Away or whatever his name is.
And then they still have Marcus Peters.
I feel like he might be hurt. Maybe he
was there, one of their corners, right?
Yeah, certainly.
So, I mean, they had a lot of veteran talent.
Yeah. The Falcons beat the Bucs 30-17. Brady didn't play much, and I thought Desmond Ritter's numbers were good, albeit, who he's facing. I don't really think the Bucs had very many starters out there for a lot of the game. So
yeah, I think they played like their starting defense for like the first quarter, and then it was just backups from there.
But overall, every quarterback that played in this game had pretty respectable numbers.
Yeah, and didn't Trask get in this game?
I think so, yeah. I would have thrown him in over Gabbert, to be honest, but I know you want to give Gabbert, he's a vet, give him some time, I guess. But
yeah, Brady was 13 of 17. Gabbert was 6 for 8 from 29 yards, but a touchdown, and then Trask was 3 for 9.
I don't know if they did this, but I would have gone Brady for the first quarter, Gabbert for the second, and then Trask for the second half.
I think Brady played till half, and then Gabbert played the third, and then Trask played the fourth.
Gotcha.
I think. The Texans beat the Colts 32-31. Texans scored late touchdown and then go for a 2-point conversion. May cost them the first pick. They did cost them the first pick, and it was basically Lovie Smith giving the middle finger on his way out.
I think he had a good idea that they were that he was going to be gone after this game. So, yeah, props. I mean, the Colts contributed pretty much almost everything to the Texans not getting the number 1 pick, because the tie in week 1 and then the loss in week 18. So props to the Texans, or to the Colts, preventing the Texans from getting the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Colts are a team that could jump into that number 1 spot. I think it's pretty 50-50 as to whether the Bears keep the pick or trade it. It costs a lot to get up, but the Colts could be a team that maybe tries to do that. But if I were the Colts, I probably wouldn't, but that's just, where the thinking is at. The Dolphins beat the Jets 11-6, a very boring game, but the Dolphins do get a playoff spot out of it thanks to the Patriots losing. They get in, and the Dolphins just needed to win. Doesn't matter. The Steelers, we'll get to that. They did win, but the Dolphins get in. And now it's going to be
the Jets. The Jets looked horrible. And for the playoff game, don't know if the Dolphins are going to have, like you said, Tua or
yeah, I think it's going to be Skylar Thompson. But I'll say this about the Jets, and it looks like Mike LaFleur might lose his job due to the Jets' offense. But Joe Flacco started 3 games for them this year, maybe 4, and their offense looked horrendous in every single one except for that game where they came back against the Browns early in the season.
Yeah.
Other than that, Joe Flacco in this offense is terrible, and I think Mike LaFleur didn't do the greatest job this season for them, but I don't know if he deserves to be fired.
Yeah, I don't know if you put that blame on him with that quarterback carousel that they had going on.
Offensive line injuries and weren't great in the second half. And then at receiver, who do you really have? Elijah Moore's okay, but then Garrett Wilson's a stud. Outside of that, you don't have much.
But, he's getting probably doubled the whole time, so it's like.
Yeah, and they have talent in the running back room, but Breece Hall obviously getting hurt affected that.
But then, when they traded did they trade or did they just
traded for James Robinson?
Yeah, and then they used him the first game or second game they had him, and then after that, he disappeared.
Weird situation there.
You had the Panthers beat the Saints 10-7. Another boring game. Both teams stunk in the whole game. The Saints offense, Andy Dalton's not the guy for that offense. Taysom Hill comes in and takes carries away from Kamara. They barely used him in the second half of the year. They need a quarterback.
Yeah.
They've got tons of talent at receiver.
Olave had a really good rookie season.
And then, Mike Thomas would play, that receiving core is even that much better. Because then Olave is not getting the double coverage Mike Thomas is.
Yeah.
And then Jarvis Landry kept getting hurt. They had their tight end, Juwan Johnson. He had several great games.
They certainly need to find one. The Steelers beat the Browns 28-14. Steelers finished 9-8, but come up short with Miami taking the 7th seed.
Yep, they almost snuck in, but they finished good, and I think they're going to keep Matt Canada.
Yeah, I think with the Steelers, 9-8 is a pretty good record considering where they started. And obviously, the biggest thing for them is that you saw flashes from Kenny Pickett. So you got a quarterback moving forward.
And then did they only have Trubisky for the 1 year, or has he still got years left on his contract?
I don't know. I wouldn't think that he'll be back, but it might have just been a 1-year deal anyway.
But if he is back, then you have he's got a year to learn the offense, and then you have a decent backup behind Pickett.
Yeah.
Najee Harris started playing well at the end of the year. They're going to need a receiver probably this year after trading Chase Claypool away.
Yeah, right now it's pretty much Deontay Johnson and George Pickens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they still have Pat Freiermuth at tight end.
Yeah.
The Broncos beat the Chargers 31-28. Wilson put on a good showing. The Chargers played the starter a little too long for nothing, I think.
Yeah,
and it might have cost them. They might have lost Mike Williams for the playoffs.
Yeah, that was a weird move.
Chase Daniels, and they have Chase Daniels who, he started some games and he's always looked good. He's had flashes of being great. I think, did Chase Daniels go to Mizzou or Purdue?
Yep, Mizzou.
He was a stud there. He's been a backup behind Drew Brees. He was a backup.
Chicago, he was there. Kansas City.
He was in Kansas City when Alex Smith was,
yeah.
So he was in the Andy Reid there. He was behind. He has had good coaching. He's a great backup.
Yeah. The Eagles beat the Giants 22-16. Jalen Hurts returned. Didn't look great. I don't know how to approach once they get I guess it matters, or I guess whoever they're playing would matter. But
I'm surprised they played him. Thought they might have just sat him for.
Yeah, but you'd be sitting him for this week and another week. I feel like he needed to get some reps.
Yeah,
and they needed to win to get the 1 seed. So
yeah. Yeah, because after last week when when they couldn't move the ball against the Saints.
Yeah, that was you needed to see something else there.
You had the Niners beat the Cardinals 38-13. 49ers clinched the 2 seed and end J.J. Watt's career on a loss. But John Lynch even was on the field after the game talking to Watt. They put on a video of him and everything, and then paused the game after his last snap and let him walk off the field and get a standing ovation from the Niners fans.
Yeah, that was great. He had a good game. I mean, he made some plays.
He had 2 sacks.
But the Niners are just far superior, obviously.
You had his brothers who show up to their game wearing one of his jerseys.
Yeah. Good way for J.J. Watt, a lot of love on the way out, no doubt. Hall of Famer.
Yeah, people saying first ballot, but then you have some guys, around the league, offensive linemen that say like, yeah, he could make those sacks, but sometimes he also would try doing his own thing, not play the actual defense, and it would open running lanes or stuff for that offense. They would play around him.
If he played for a winning franchise for most of his career, I'd be like, yeah, he hurt the team. Yeah. But the Texans, I mean, give me a break.
Do you think he retires as a Cardinal, or do you think he signs, or whatever, and retires as a Texan?
Probably as a Texan, I would think, but who knows with the state of their franchise right now.
How many years did he play in the league?
12 maybe? 11, 12?
He played, 2 with the Cardinals?
Yeah.
The rest was with Houston?
And last season he was hurt a lot. J.J. Watt played 12 seasons.
So you had 10 with Houston.
And people always say, oh, he was hurt all the time. But, it was a few years that were lost. But he played 16 games multiple times. The first 5 years of his career, he played all 16. And then eight of 12 seasons, he played 16. Then he played 8.
He had that one where he messed up his arm and had to sit out a couple of games before he had that brace.
Yeah. So, there you go. Seahawks beat the Rams 19-16 in overtime. Seahawks clinched a playoff spot with a win in overtime, and they got help from the Lions as well. Myers misses the field goal, sent it to overtime, then makes it in overtime after Baker threw a pick to longtime Detroit Lion, ironically enough, Quandre Diggs.
Who had even FaceTimed or called some Lions guys prior to the game saying, hey, we're going to do our thing to help and hope you can help us out or whatever.
Well, the Lions should be in over the Seahawks. They're a better football team, but that's all right.
And they're the hotter team at the moment.
And it's also based off the fact the Seahawks beat the Lions week 2 or 3 or whatever that was when the Lions had no defense at all.
Myers kick donked off the upright.
That Seahawks-Lions game in Detroit was 48-45.
Yeah.
The Lions had to score 22 points in the fourth quarter to lose by 3.
I did see, too, that the Lions GM said that Goff looked this year like he is going to be their quarterback. So, they're going to stick with
him. I said it a few weeks ago. I think that's a guy you could probably win with.
Yeah, he's had flashes of –
got to the Super Bowl.
He's had flashes of really good play.
I think one thing he needed to do was go into a cold weather environment and be able to manage the game and win. And he wasn't spectacular in that game, but they won, and he was good enough.
Yeah, and he's got talent.
He's number 1 pick.
I mean, he's got talent receiver St. Brown when they got Jameson Williams back. But I don't think he's fully involved in the offense yet. And then they get rid of Hawkinson. But then you got these other 2 tight ends that have been killing it for him.
Yeah.
They just get another, a slot receiver for those guys, open St. Brown and Jameson Williams up. That could be dangerous. They got the running back combo. Jamal Williams had how many touchdowns this year?
17, I think.
Then you had the Commanders beat the Cowboys 26-6. Commanders jump all over the Cowboys early and pull away late. And they had that pick 6. That corner just sat on that and waited, and Dak threw it right to him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't really take anything away from this game. Sam Howell looked solid, I guess.
Yeah, but like the announcers were saying that game, like you can't jump to conclusions that he's going to be the starter next year off that one game. Because even if he played really good or really bad, and just his one game against a good defense, but I'm surprised at the score of this.
Yeah, me too. Sunday night, the Lions beat the Packers 20-16. Packers choke it away in the second half. Shocking. And another season ends at Lambeau. Props to the Lions who had nothing to play for. That'll be the extent of my comments on this matter at this moment.
They were just playing for pride and trying to knock the Packers out. Because Packers win, they jumped over the Seahawks, correct?
Yeah.
And then you had Rodgers' interview after the game. Didn't really say if he's going to be back or not.
He'll be back. You heard it here first, folks. I've been right both times.
I was just saying from his interview.
Yeah, but
when they asked, like, he didn't really. He just said like he would miss such and who. And he kept naming reporters' names, missing these articles.
He'll be back.
And then you have the playoff matchups. You got the NFC. Eagles get the bye. Niners will host the Seahawks. Vikings will host the Giants, and the Bucks will host the Cowboys.
In the AFC, the Chiefs have the bye, the 1 seed. It'll be Bills versus Dolphins. That's going to be a massacre. Bengals versus Ravens, and Jaguars versus Chargers.
Then you had the Texans fire head coach Lovie Smith hours after winning the last game.
Not surprising. Back-to-back one-year head coaches there, by the way, because David Coley only lasted 1 year.
Yeah. Brandon Cooks of Houston says he doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild. So basically probably asking to be traded or released.
Brandon Cooks, you are a Green Bay Packer, my friend. Welcome.
The Cardinals fire head coach Cliff Kingsbury Monday, and GM Keim is stepping away.
Yep, no surprises there. I kind of thought that
Keim had left a couple weeks ago due to health issues, so
he's gone too. But I full-on reset here for Arizona. They're going to keep Kyler Murray, obviously, because of the contract. Find a coach that can work with him. Find a GM to not, make weird moves. I guess trade a lot of value. They traded a lot for receiver. Like DeAndre Hopkins is great, and he's probably going to get traded this offseason. But they also traded a first for Marquise Brown. So that's a lot to give up for a receiver, and you're taking away from the rest of your team in terms of talent. You don't have as much on the defensive side of the ball, and your offensive line's not as good as it could be because of how much you've given up to get receivers.
And then did they trade that receiver to Jacksonville, or did he
was a
free agent?
Free agent. They weren't going to pay him. They already paid Hopkins that much.
Who was it?
Christian Kirk.
Yeah, who got a bag.
Yeah, way too much money. He's fine, but way too much money.
Yeah, I'm guessing AJ Green's probably done.
Yeah, and Hopkins will be traded. It'll be a reset. They'll probably be bad next year as well.
I mean, they've got
Kyler's going to be out half.
Marquise Brown. Who knows? Who knows if Zach Ertz is going to stay?
Kyler Murray will be hurt for half of next season, probably.
I don't know how much is left on Connor's contract.
Kyler Murray had ACL surgery at the end of 2022, so it'll be at least October, right?
No, he didn't have it until after the new year. He just had it like last week.
I thought it was like December 30th he was supposed to have it.
Maybe
he posted it like a week later. Because I swear they said after it happened, it was like December 30th they'll have it, and I was like, that seems pretty far from now because it happened in that Patriots-Cardinals game, which was on December 12th. Anyway.
I'm looking at Kyler's January 4th, ACL surgery was successful. Thank you for everyone. So
I feel like he had it before that, just posted late, but who knows?
Then there's now 5 head coaching spots available. You got the Panthers. Got to find a head coach. Arizona, Houston, Indy, and then Denver. And Denver's got a lot of money there with the whole Walmart clan.
Yeah.
And there are the talks about Sean Payton.
Sean Payton will not come back for any of these jobs. I guarantee it.
But he also, he said that he wants Fangio to be his defensive coordinator. So then, like you said, do you think Denver would really hire Fangio back?
I don't know, but this fan-sided NFL hot seat head coaching predictions. Nope, this is not what I was looking for. Never mind. NFL coaching predictions for who will be where for the Cardinals and Texans. Most likely Cardinals candidates are Ben Johnson, the Lions OC, Jim Harbaugh, and Sean Payton. Okay. Texans candidates, Rob Mayo, Patriots inside linebackers coach, former player, of course. Cliff Kingsbury, which would be hilarious. And Jonathan Gannon, the Eagles DC. So,
yeah,
we'll
I saw a thing that they were talking maybe Cliff Kingsbury won't get another coaching job in college or in the NFL. That he'll be done. Yeah, he's still got all that money from his contract.
If I'm Bill Belichick, I want him as my OC.
Yeah, maybe. He's got a lot of money there that he got from his contract. He's still got the money from that extension and everything.
Yeah. Who knows?
Supposedly he's made a lot of money in investments, so
yeah. Moving on.
You get the Hamlin discharge, and then Lamar still not practicing. Huntley on track. If you're Ravens, you're hoping at least Huntley's going to be there. Because
definitely.
Who's their third
Anthony
string?
Brown is horrible.
Yeah, you're definitely not wanting him to be your starter in the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Patriots head coach Bill Belichick will return for his 24th season as the head coach in New England. No surprise. Falcons defensive coordinator Dean Pease retires for the third time. Very nice. Titans fired 4 assistants, including their offensive coordinator Todd Downing. Browns fired defensive coordinator Joe Woods. And the Commanders, looking for a fresh start, they fired OC Scott Turner. So a lot of coaching moves in the NFL. None coming from the team that completely underachieved, went 8-9, missed the playoffs with a quarterback who's making $50 million a year. But anyway, what can you do?
Who are you talking
about? Nobody. On to golf.
And then I was looking, go back to episode 76, where we picked who's going to win the divisions. Let's see, I had the Bills to win the East, Bengals to win the North, I had the Colts to win the South, Chiefs to win the West. So I was 3 out of 4 in the AFC, and then wild card I had Dolphins, Chargers, and Titans. So got 2 out of 3 there. NFC I had the Eagles, Packers, Bucks, Rams. So 2 out of 4 in the NFC, and then I had Vikings, Cardinals, Saints. So I had one of the playoff teams. And then I had Bills, Bucks, or Chiefs, Packers to be the Super Bowl. So only one of those can happen.
I had Bills, Ravens, Colts, Chiefs.
So you got 2 out of 4 there.
Chargers, Patriots, Bengals. So Bengals are in, but I just had to flip them in the Ravens.
Yeah. So
NFC I had Eagles, Packers, Bucks, Rams.
So we had the same there.
And then I had Niners, Vikings, Cowboys.
Well, you got you're just missing, 2 teams?
Just take the Packers out, put the put the Niners or the Seahawks in. I had the Seahawks going 4-13, by the way. And then my Super Bowl was Bills over Rams, so that's still alive. MVP, Mahomes, that'll probably happen.
I don't have any of those picks, I don't think.
Offensive Player of the Year, Justin Jefferson, very good chance. Defensive Player of the Year, Joey Bosa didn't stay healthy. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Breece Hall didn't stay healthy. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Aiden Hutchinson, that'll probably happen. Coach of the Year, Kevin O'Connell for the Vikings, would definitely happen if it weren't for Brian Dable and the Giants. I will say that. Anyway.
On to golf.
Yep.
We had the Century Tournament Champions last weekend. Winner was John Rahm, won $2.7 million, shot 27 under, shot 10 under in round 4 to come back, and Colin Morikawa blew a how many stroke lead?
7.
He shot 1 under on round 4.
Yeah, tough round for Morikawa to lose. So
Rahm shows why he's one of the top golfers in the PGA Tour with shooting 10 under.
Yep, big time.
And then this weekend you have the Sony Open of Hawaii, defending champion Hideki Matsuyama at how do you say that country club?
Wailele. Waiale. I don't know.
It's in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Yeah. So I mean, those are hard to pronounce. Let's do college hoops. Top 25.
Houston moves up 1-1. Kansas up 1-2. Purdue down 2-3. Bama up 3-4. Tennessee up 3-5.
You have UConn down 2-6. UCLA up 3-7. Gonzaga up 1-8. Arizona drops 4-9. Texas drops 4-10.
Kansas State jumps to 11 from being unranked, so big jump for them. Xavier up 6-12. Virginia down 2-13. Iowa State to 14, up 11 from 25, and Arkansas down 2-15.
Miami is down 4-12. TCU unranked to 17.
Oh, they stayed. They just
stayed. Yeah,
which is surprising. They didn't move up or anything.
Yeah. Wisconsin down 4-18. Providence unranked to 19, and Missouri stays at 20.
Which is another weird one that those two. It's just weird that those two teams didn't move.
Yeah.
Auburn up 1-21. Charleston, I guess it's the College of Charleston.
Oh yeah, they're good.
Up 1-22. San Diego State, the 23rd being unranked. Duke down 8-24, and Marquette jumps into the top 25 after being unranked.
On to Major League Baseball. Ex-Braves general manager Capo Lella has lifetime ban lifted. I don't know what he did.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Let me look.
You had the Red Sox lock up third baseman Rafael Devers. 11 years, $331 million. So they let all those other guys go, and they had to lock up somebody.
Circumventing international signing limits due to an illegal practice referred to as bundling. Due to this practice, the Braves heavily underreported signing bonuses for a number of international players and were forced to release 12 of them. They were hit with several punishments as a team in addition to his ban, and he was reinstated.
When was he banned? What
2017.
Oh. Man, for that reason, I don't remember hearing about that.
Nope, neither do I. What else did you do?
You're on to the third time.
Oh. Third time's a charm for Carlos Correa. Signs a 6-year, $200 million deal with the Twins. Option for a 7th year and $270 million, I believe is what that is, which I don't understand that. But anyway, played there last season. The deal was pending a physical, but that's now official, so it's done. The Correa thing is over. Signs with the Giants, physical doesn't work. Signs with the Mets, physical doesn't work. Signs back with the Twins where he played last year, and it's all good. So what a weird situation.
All because a knee issue from when he was in the minors?
It was an ankle issue, something to do with that. I don't know. I mean,
but this is before he even got into the league, right?
I believe so, yeah.
And then lastly, Nelson Cruz gets a 1 year $1 million deal with the Padres.
Nice little bat to have on the bench. Toss him in there whenever you need him.
Guy's up there in age.
He can still hit, though.
Yeah.
What were his numbers last year? I believe he was in Washington last year. Let's see.
But I mean, how old is he? He's got to be up
42.
He's been in the league for a long time.
Yeah, batted .234 last year. Not great. 10 home runs, 64 RBIs. Not that great. 18 years in the league. So, all right, NHL. Canada wins 2023 World Junior Championships gold over Czechia. 2023 number one pick, soon to be number one pick, I should say. Connor Bedard was dominant, 23 points, most by a Canadian, and the fourth most all time in a single World Juniors. So,
wasn't there an issue though, like a horrible call in the Canada USA game?
I mean, the U.S. got destroyed after, but yeah,
there was like a goal that was called a no goal or whatever for goalie interference.
Yeah, tough.
I saw. Whitney,
I saw that.
Said it was the worst call he'd ever seen in hockey history.
He likes to get the Canadians, ruffled up. NHL stat leaders through games for January 10th. Points leader is Connor McDavid of the Oilers with 77. He's 15 ahead of number 2.
Defenseman Erik Karlsson from San Jose is at 55. 9 above number 2.
Rookie points, Matty Beniers of Seattle with 34 points, 8 ahead of the second.
Yeah, he had a big week.
Yeah.
Goals, Connor McDavid at 34, only 2 ahead. And I think it's Pasta is right behind him. He had a hat trick and then 2 goals in the next game. So
yeah. Let's see. Defenseman goals, Erik Karlsson, 13th, tied with Buffalo's Rasmus Dahlin.
And rookie goals, Matty Beniers, 16. He's 5 ahead of number 2.
Assists, Connor McDavid, 43, tied with Tampa's Nikita Kucherov.
Assists is Erik Karlsson at 42, 3 ahead. Only 1 back from Connor.
Yeah. Rookie assists, Matthias Michelli, Arizona. He's got 19. He's 1 ahead of the next.
Goalie wins. No change here. Linus Ullmark, Boston at 22, 2 ahead.
Goaltender save percentage is also Ullmark of Boston, 938. He's plus 0.13 ahead of the second.
And then team points leader is the Bruins at 32, 4-4, 62 points, 11 ahead. And I think it's Carolina, I wanted to say, is in second.
That sounds right. And then we had a horrible college football national championship game that was pretty much over from the start.
Yeah. I mean, Georgia drives down the field, scores.
They got it.
Did they get a field goal first?
They scored a touchdown, but it was 10-7, and then they took off.
They were up 10-0, or was it?
I think it was
tied 7-7.
I think it was 10-0, and then it got to 10-7, and then after that, Georgia just completely dominated. Maybe, probably no, absolutely the most embarrassing performance. Just TCU not a good. They kind of lucked their way a lot through the season. Like, not to say they weren't a good team, but they didn't belong.
It showed that their defense was lacking. Like, Stetson Bennett put on a performance.
Yeah.
The score was Georgia 65-7. Stetson Bennett was 18 for 25 for 304 yards, 4 touchdowns. Also had 3 carries for 39 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that 1 touchdown when he ran to the left, he had a receiver and the running back and a lineman who were looking for someone to block, and there was no one near.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers. It's Brock Bowers, right?
Yeah, he's terrific. Tight end.
Had 7 catches, 154 yards, and a touchdown. I think he might have broken the NCAA record with this touchdown. I think he might have been tied for second in touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then what is McConkey's first name?
Lad McConkey.
He had 5 catches for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns. In the one drive, he had 3 catches for 74 yards in the touchdown on one drive.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Just Michigan versus Georgia or Ohio State versus Georgia is probably a better matchup, but TCU earned their way to get there, but they just weren't a good matchup for Georgia, which most teams aren't good matchups for Georgia, but
yeah. And who would
this
have
is a beatdown.
if TCU's loss to Kansas State would have knocked them out? Who would have been the next team to come in? Who was the 5 before that?
Probably Alabama. It was Ohio State who jumped in because of USC, and then Alabama would probably have been the next team up if TCU would have gotten knocked out. So we would have been looking at Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, Michigan probably.
Which would have been a nice rematch for the Michigan-Ohio State game.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison's health would have, if he didn't get hurt, might have helped.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
Last college rankings where you got.
Well, Ohio State was 5th going into that week, and Alabama was 6th, but then USC was 4th. They got knocked out. TCU stayed at 3. Ohio State jumped to 4. Let's do the picks. Picks last week I was 12-7. A little bit of a time constraint here, so we won't go into too much detail. Didn't get any of the golf right, and I believe you got 2 of the golf right. So
yeah, Bama was at 5.
Yeah, I'm now 661 and 520 on the year or on the.
I was 10-11, 0-2 in the NBA, 1-1 in hockey, 3-3 in college hoops. Yale losing to Dartmouth hurt, Indiana losing to Iowa, and then New Mexico losing to UNLV. I was 4-4 in the NFL. We both got the national championship wrong, right?
Yep.
And then, I had Fitzpatrick and Sepp Straka for golf. So I'm 671 and 540.
All right. Let's start with the Sony Open in Honolulu. Who you got?
To win, I have Sungjae M plus 1,200, Jordan Spieth at plus 1,600, and Hideki Matsuyama to repeat as champion of this tournament at plus 2,000.
I have Tom Kim, the favorite, plus 1,100, Keegan Bradley plus 3,500, and JJ Spawn plus 5,000.
Top 5, I have Billy Horschel at plus 600.
I have Jordan Spieth plus 360.
Top 10, I have old Tom Hogue at plus 260.
I have Billy Horschel plus 300.
And then top 20, I picked Harris English at plus 190.
I'm trying to get a golf win in my book, so I'm going to go with Hideki plus 100. I would have not done this if it was minus, but it was plus 100 somehow. The defending champ plus 100 to finish top 20.
Dirty dog.
Well, like I said, if it was minus 100, I wouldn't have done it. But
you tried getting 2. You got Spieth in there, the top 5. I see what you're doing here.
Well, I'm just trying to get back on the board here. All right, let's do college hoops Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Thursday, I got UCLA over Utah and Arizona over Oregon State.
I got UCLA over Utah, Michigan over Iowa.
Friday, I have out of the Atlantic 10, Dayton over VCU. Should be a good game. They're both 12-5. And then Big East, I got Butler over Villanova.
That'll be if Villanova loses that game, then Jesus. Anyway,
Villanova is 9-8, I believe.
I think they're 8-9 actually.
Yeah.
They're better than 8-9 though, but not much better. I'm taking Iona over Fairfield out of the Metro Atlantic, and then I'll take Dayton over VCU as well. Dayton, a team that's wildly underperformed this season in non-conference. They probably should be 15-2 or 14-3 with that roster, but yeah.
Saturday, I got Tennessee over Kentucky and Missouri over Florida.
I also have Tennessee over Kentucky. Kentucky is a disaster right now, and I'll take LSU in an upset over Alabama. All right.
NBA we're doing it for tomorrow.
Yeah, NBA Thursday.
I got the Celtics -3.5 over the Nets and the Mavs -3 over the Lakers.
Those are my exact picks as well.
NHL for tomorrow. I got the Jets -130 over the Sabres and the Islanders -105 over the Wild.
I'll take the Leafs -180 over the Preds and the Oilers on the road -250 over the Ducks.
-250.
If
Pick
was
a close game, trying to get gimme picks.
It's hockey, you never know. And the Ducks have plenty of talent. Maybe they'll score 7 goals. Not like the Oilers haven't allowed that before. All right,
Yeah,
NFL.
We got all 6 games for the NFL playoff wildcard weekend. Saturday, you got the Seahawks at the Niners. The Niners -9.5 is the line.
Niners, easy.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Niners as well. And then the other Saturday game is the Chargers at Jacksonville. Chargers -2.
I really, really don't want to pick against Doug Peterson because I think he's such a better coach than Brandon Staley. But I'm riding with Justin Herbert -2.
I'm going to take the Jags. I think their offense is really starting to click. And if the Chargers don't have Mike Williams, it's going to limit them.
Yeah.
Sunday, you got the Dolphins at the Bills. The Bills -13.
Yep, Bills are not losing this game, and they're going to win it by a lot.
Yeah, especially with if Tua or Teddy was even playing, that might.
Tua's already confirmed out, so that's done.
No, just saying,
Teddy's not playing.
If either of those two playing, that line's probably not 13.
If Teddy was playing, it would still be around there.
It'd probably be like 10.
No, it'd probably be like 11.5. And then if Tua was playing, it would be 10.5. The Bills are so much better than the Dolphins.
Then you got the Giants at the Vikings. Vikings -3.
Giants +3.
I'm going to take the Vikings at home. Got their big crowd. The big skull chants going off.
Won't matter. Daniel Jones is about to win a Super Bowl.
You heard it here first.
Giants beat the Bills in the Super Bowl. A thriller.
Battle of the Northeast, huh?
Yep.
You got the Sunday night game. You got the Ravens at the Bengals. The Bengals -8.5.
Yep, I'll take the Bengals.
Yeah, especially with the Ravens quarterback situation unknown right now.
Yep.
And
Not
then
good.
Monday you have the Cowboys at the Bucks. Cowboys -2.5.
There's a lot of talk about you don't pick against Tom Brady, this and that. And usually I would be like, yeah, I agree. But the Cowboys are a better football team, and they're under a lot of pressure this year, especially to maybe win a playoff game, get a bit of a run going. And the Bucks have just kind of seemed like they've gotten away with a lot this season. This, to me, is not a team that is, I think you would agree as a fan, they're not really a team that's worthy of hosting a home playoff. Like, they have not played well for most of this season. And
especially with the talent that they have at receiving.
There's been a clear difference between Arians and Bowles. I think Arians is a much better head coach, much better at managing things. Bowles is one of those guys that is just a really, really good coordinator, leaves a little bit to be desired when it comes to being a head coach. So I'm going to take the Cowboys. If the Bucks win this game, I will not pick against them again in the playoffs. But I just think the Cowboys, they're due to make some sort of a run with all the terrible playoff performances they had over the years. And if they don't and Dak plays poorly, you got to rethink that, what you're going to do there. Because I don't know. There's really no excuse. The Cowboys are better at almost every level with the exception of probably the quarterback.
I think the one thing that hurts the Cowboys too is Tony Pollard's injury because he's a game changer for them.
He's way better than Zeke, yeah.
So only having Zeke really limits their offense. You don't have that game changer in Tony Pollard.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cowboys. Maybe regret it.
I'm taking the Bucks +2.5. Going to ride with my team, and I picked every home team.
I picked 3 roads, 3 homes. Here we go.
Out of this, the Niners play the
Niners would play whatever lowest seed
the
wins.
lowest, yeah.
So it
And
would be the Giants.
and then the Chiefs play the lowest. But then, what is it? There's the coin flip.
I don't understand that whole thing. I don't even want to get into that.
Oh yeah, there's like
If we'll cross that bridge if we ever get there.
the Chiefs play the Bengals or the Bills. They got a neutral side or whatever.
No clue. But anyway, that'll do it for us. We'll be back next week for number 94. Lots to discuss with the NFL playoffs and all that and more. We'll see you next week on the Sports Mashup.
Deuces.